Clock down to 6. Cross-court skip Mike Scott. Sixers go to Danny Green. He fires for 3 in the corner. It's good! Danny Green knocks it down. His 8th 3 in the game. The Sixers are kind of squandering the possession for a moment. Finally, Mike Scott to the corner, and Danny Green with what else? A corner 3.
97.5, the Fanatic. 8 threes for Danny Green against his former team. He had 28 in all. Philadelphia fends off the LA Lakers for their 4th straight win, 109-101, playing without stars LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The Lakers on their second 4-game skid since mid-February. What might this team look like without these players for the next several weeks? Bobby Marks on Freddie and Fitzsimmons.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that we're talking a month from now that, you know, this Laker team is in 6, and we're saying, can they hold on to 6, or are we going to see them in the playing game?
5 to shoot. Step back, corner 3. Oh! Reggie Jackson, the dagger, the moon ball. The prayer was answered. Clippers lead 98-85, under a minute to go.
570 LA Sports. He scored 28. Did Reggie Jackson. Paul George adds 2 dozen to go with 13 rebounds. The Clippers beat the Spurs 98-85. Their 4th straight win. LA was without Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Serge Ibaka, and Patrick Beverly, all nursing assorted injuries. How about the night for De'Aaron Fox? Keep in mind, he scored 37 last game out against the Hawks. The Kings win. Well, he was better than that.
Gets into the paint, step back 17-footer. De'Aaron Fox has 42. The Kings have a season-high 129. Kings lead at 129-113.
Playing some good basketball right now. Obviously, Fox playing at the level he is really propelling us to where we are right now.
Here's Fox breaking down the defense. Drives to the rack, finger rolls scoop. There's a new career scoring high for De'Aaron Fox. Wearing a Kings uniform, taking it to the rim. It's 131-113. Fox has 44.
De'Aaron playing aggressive like this and finding teammates, and then all of us having fun on the court like we did tonight. That's what makes really good teams.
Kyle Guy impressed with his teammate. De'Aaron Fox had a career-best 44 points. You heard the calls on KHTK. Sacramento beating short-handed Golden State 141-119. Fox 16 of 22 from the floor. His team has won 5 of their last 6.
Burks with 7 to shoot. Off the screen. Left elbow floater. Got it. Alec Burks with 23. Huge here in the 4th, and the Knicks lead by 6.
98.7 ESPN New York. Burks had 27. The Knicks 106-102 coming back on the Wizards. R.J. Barrett added 24 points. Knicks trailed by 17 in the 3rd quarter. Didn't catch their first lead until the 4th. Again, we remind you, ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. So the Sweet 16 is upon us. How are your brackets looking? The games resume on Saturday with Michigan getting Florida State on Sunday. Sean Farnham on SportsCenter says the Wolverines are a 1 seed that could be vulnerable.
Not 100% healthy without Isaiah Livers, but it's also more about the quality of opponent in which they're facing here in the Sweet 16 and the uniqueness that Leonard Hamilton's team brings to the floor. They are extremely long and they are deep, and that means that they can really suffocate you at the defensive end of the floor. They can close out to the perimeter, they can shorten those closeouts a little bit, create space, but still contest shots because of their length, and then they can collapse on the interior. They have active hands. They'll be able to force some turnovers, get those turnovers, and equate to easy runouts, including Scotty Barnes. And I think he's one of the more talented players that we've seen in college basketball this entire season as far as freshmen go.
Yeah, you have to expect the Livers injury to impact this team. Loyola of Chicago back in the Sweet 16 as they get it started Saturday, 2:40 Eastern against Oregon State. The Beavers actually a 12 seed, but the Ramblers are no 8 seed, right? Just ask Sister Jean.
Sometimes we play a better game when the school is a real challenge to us. I tell them never to play down to a team. Sometimes it's very easy to do that. The bracketologists watch the games endlessly, and they watch the plays, but they really don't know the team. I said, I know my team, so I think that's why I put such faith and trust in them and what they're capable of doing. I don't want to be a bracketologist either, so don't worry.
We remind you, she's 101 years old, one of the biggest fans of Loyola of Chicago, their college basketball team riding high once again. We know Alabama can play football, but the Tide this season have shined on the hard court. The 2 seed getting UCLA on Sunday. Their coach, Nate Oates, on what it means to be on this stage.
Great for the program. I was just talking with somebody in the program. I think it was 2004. So last time Alabama's been to the Sweet 16. So 17 years has been a long time. So I think we've got 3 seniors from the state of Alabama, and Herb Jones, John Petty, and Alex Reese. So for those 3 to get us back to the Sweet 16, I'm really happy for them. They've been great. Their attitude's been great. But for myself, I mean, if I coach long enough, eventually I should get to 1, I would think. So it was. I'm glad to be able to help these guys get to where they got, because I'm hopefully going to be coaching for a lot longer, and they got limited playing careers. So it means a lot more, for me to get them there than it does for myself.
They're talking college basketball with UCLA coach Mick Cronin, who gets the challenge of Alabama, joining KJ and Z this morning. You're on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPN News. He joins the show at 9:30 Eastern. Jay Williams, Bart Scott, Alan Hahn in the seat. So always, the key to filling out those brackets is finding out where the upsets will come from, because they will happen. It's in tune with March Madness. Daily Wager host Joe Fortenbaugh on just that, the subject of upsets. He joined Freddie and Fitzsimmons.
How many nice upsets did we have? Now, we had Oral Roberts, yes, and they went on to prove that they could get it done. But then we also had Ohio, and we also had Abilene Christian. And we had a few of these other schools where they win that first game, and then we want to believe. But then they go up against a better team, a better quality competition opponent, and then they get shellacked. And that's what happens. I mean, we learned that Abilene Christian looked great against Texas. They forced 20-plus turnovers. But then they went out and they got rolled. And that's what happens to some of these teams, these smaller schools. We can't put too much emphasis on what we just saw, right? We weight it, but weight it properly. Don't get overwhelmed. Sometimes the best thought process for an amateur gambler, someone who's just doing this for fun, bet against what the opinion's going to be, right? If everyone's coming in yelling and screaming it's going to go one way, you hear everyone talking about it, bet the other way. Sometimes we saw it in the Super Bowl. That's the best approach. Go against the consensus, because Caesar's Palace and all these places out here, they weren't built on consensus.
To the NFL and the league.